we're set. All right. You saw the title of the live stream. I did actually make a community post saying that I would go live. Even sent a Facebook message to one of my friends to personally invite her to this. So if no one shows up this time, I just must have really bad luck, or maybe there's some public holiday that I just completely forgot about. For those of you that are watching this after it goes live, that came late, then an announcement that I want to make that I think will make most of you very happy is that I finished all the editing for my best memories of 2025 video. I'm just not going to upload it yet. I'm going to upload it unlisted at present so that my friends that were involved in the creation of the video get to see early access, but it'll be released to the public around the time that I finish the best games video, whenever that is. Welcome in, Kateri. Glad to see you again. Last time we talked, I was telling you all about Persona, so I was just curious if, based on the email I sent you, do you think Persona is a series for you, or do you think you're just gonna pass on it? To be honest, I wouldn't blame you at all if you didn't like Persona. It's the kind of game that requires a lot of time commitment. I think the most recent Persona game I played took me about 60 hours. And then, oh, what's this? Geostar97 says, what do you do if you have a moment that should be on the list after it's been made? I make another video saying this should have been on the list, but I was impatient. Honestly, I didn't think much more would happen this year. And plus, I wanted to get it out in a timely manner, and I underestimated my own skill at being able to be speedy in making it, as it only took me, I think, like a day and a half. Well, the actual process behind making the video took an entire year, but actually sitting down and doing the recording and doing the editing, that only took a day and a half. So welcome in, Geostar. Do you have a nickname that you'd like me to call you so that I don't have to keep saying Geostar97 every single time? I mean, I'm cool with that, but just saying, if there's something you'd like me to say instead, like I always tell people, you can just call me Paul whenever I come up in live stream so that they don't have to say, hi, nerd. You'd be surprised how many people email me and say, like, I've been watching your channel lately, yet they start out their emails by saying, hi, the Catholic Gaming, and it's like, you don't even get my name. What the heck? Drop the 97? Okay. All right. I don't know if I'll call you nerd. That's my title, but sure. All right. Geostar it is. Welcome in. I'm not too good with names when it comes to YouTubers just yet, so let me see if I remember you. I think you were in my second to last live stream, because the previous one I did, no one showed up. And to be fair, I didn't announce it. This time I have so much time in advance, I may even live stream this entire week if I feel like it. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow I have dinner with a friend that I haven't seen in probably 5 or 6 years. So we got a lot of catching up to do. And then also tomorrow I have a retreat. It's only 3 hours long, so I'll be back before you know it. But I'll have to get up pretty early in the morning to make the drive because it's 30 minutes away from my house. And then I'll have to make sure I get a good nap before I have dinner with my friend. So tomorrow's going to be crazy. Oh, that's cool, Kateri. I hope that you enjoy Persona. I would say, I don't remember if I said this in the email or not, but I would say that if you're looking to start the series, either Persona 3 Reload or Persona 5 Royal would be the best place to get started. Don't worry about the numbers. The numbers, basically, the only thing those mean are this is the 3rd game in the series, this is the 5th game in the series, but they all have like separate characters and separate storylines, so you really don't need to worry about continuity. Like, there's a few enemies and a few like recurring names that you'll see throughout the series, but they don't really mean much in terms of the overall story progression. Like, yes, you'll see Jack Frost a lot, but Jack Frost is just yet another enemy in the series, kind of like Goombas. If you don't know what a Goomba is when you play Super Mario Odyssey, it's not going to make you think, oh shoot, I should have played Super Mario Brothers. Like that kind of logic, if that makes any sense. But I'm glad you paid attention to that email. I put a lot of thought into trying to word it in such a way that it would make sense to you and warn you what to expect from it, but also be like, if you can put up with all the questionable stuff in it, it's a very worthy time investment. Very, very worthy. I don't want to say how much I liked Persona 3 Reload because that'll spoil my end of year list, but it is eligible because my rules this year were I didn't want Switch 1 games that were just basic ports or rehashes. I didn't want Switch 2 editions, and the usual 3 rules that I did last year were I had to have beaten the game, had to have come out this year, and why am I forgetting the third rule? Oh, and it has to be for the Switch 1 or Switch 2. So Persona 3 Reload came out on the Switch 2 this year. Yes, it was originally out in 2024, but we Switch 2 owners got it this year. So to me, it's a brand new game. So therefore, it's eligible. All right, what was I saying before you guys showed up? Yes, so the best memories video is all done. It's uploading unlisted at the moment. And once I'm done with the best games video, then we'll let it go. As far as progress on the best games, just like last year, I was working on it for an entire year before working on it. And I don't think it'll be as bombastic this time around, but yet there was also a last-minute decision that Esabelle and I made that I think will have more of an oomph in its ending than what we previously had planned. And I'm just waiting for one more game that I think could be worthy of the list, and after I beat and review that game, then that video will go live, and then you'll see the best memories one at the same time. And for the rest of you that maybe don't care about either of those videos, something to know about my channel is that I love reviewing games, but I also love talking about my stories. So you'll probably hear me talking about The Retreat after I finish coming back from that. Probably won't be until Sunday or Monday, because like I said, have dinner with my friends, so I'll want to make sure I get a good long nap to make sure I'm recharged after that retreat. But I am first and foremost a storyteller and a believer of God before I am a video game reviewer. So if you don't like me reminiscing, oh boy, this channel will probably annoy the heck out of you. So enough about me blabbing. Let's hear everyone else's, if you want to. I know some people don't like talking about their hobbies or their days. A lot of people at the gym, when I ask if they have any good news, all they can say is living the dream. So if you want to just say living the dream, I won't force it on you. But I would love to hear what's going on in your lives. Like, how are y'all doing? Any good news? Any games you've been playing? Probably won't play them because goodness knows I typically don't like playing games that aren't rentable. But you never know. Maybe I'll try it out if it does become a rental. Speaking of rentals, I don't think this game will be on the list, but there's a game that just came out on the Switch called Fast and Furious Arcade Edition, and I've been told it's made by the same developers of Cruisin' Blast, which was a game I liked, but not enough to make it on my best games of 2021. So I think it might be fun. Ooh, we just got a spike in viewership. There are 3 people watching now. Very, very nice. I call that a spike because by my standards, that's a lot. Because I am just such a cringy guy. I'm surprised even one person puts up with me. But welcome in, all of you. I forgot what I was going to say. That's the joy of these live streams, is when I mess up, you all get to see it. Whereas in my reviews, I can edit out those awkward pauses. I've been getting better, though. I reviewed a game called Dear Me, I Was. And I did all of what I had to say in one take. Not only that, but it was also unscripted. I just rehearsed what I was going to say in my head. And then I just remembered it, turned on the microphone, started talking, and called it a day. And by my standards, that video is doing pretty successful. Let's see. How good did it do by your standards? So it got 221 views, which by my standards, that is phenomenal. 5 likes. By my standards, that is also phenomenal. How many dislikes did one dislike? Yeah, dislikes still help engagement, so I'm happy about that. Sorry. I just realized that I forgot to bring my water, so I will be right back. So, hope you guys don't go anywhere, and if you do, you can always watch the replay, so just give me a couple of minutes. Let's hope that doesn't spill. Jevel, welcome in. Rise and shine, maybe for people in Australia, but for me it is 8:12 in the afternoon. For most of my life, I've been more of a night person than a daytime person, so this time of night I should be way more energetic than I would be if I did this earlier in the day. So, what's the latest news, Jevel? You're usually the one that's filling me in on all the crazy stuff, so if you got any updates, go for it. I'd love to hear it. You missed this earlier, but I'm all done with my best memories of 2025, just waiting to release it to the public. And there will be a few things on there about the Switch too, so you'll have something to be excited about if you don't want to hear about all the mushy-gushy stuff with my friends. Uh, okay, that is one area where I'll draw the line. I don't want to know anything about the Mario Galaxy movie, so maybe talk about something that's gaming related. Because I like to go into movies knowing pretty much nothing. Like, after I saw the trailer of the Galaxy movie, I said, that's it. That's all I'm going to watch. I'm going to go in completely surprised apart from that. So, unfortunately, a few YouTubers love to drop thumbnails of certain characters, and I was like, eh. To be honest, a lot of it was expected, but I still wanted to be surprised. But I'm excited for it. I am really excited for it because I loved the first Mario movie. I could definitely pick out a lot of areas where it could be improved, but at the same time, it's still my second favorite movie at present, next to Across the Spider-Verse. Uh, yeah, yeah, that is unfortunate that they can't get the actors from the games. Because they did that with the Sonic movie. They got Tails' actress, so I don't know what their problem is. I would love it if Charles Martinet had a cameo in that movie. That is one thing I probably will look up. All right, Jevel, I changed my mind. If you happen to know if Charles Martinet will be in the movie, that you can mention that. Yes! Oh, Kateri, it was wonderful. It was leagues better than the 1993 one. I haven't seen the full thing, but I've seen enough where I said, oh, that's bad. That I can see why it took Nintendo 30 years to finally get into the movie industry again. Because apparently their only involvement with the original Mario movie, the one in 1993, was just saying, okay, you guys have creative control. And I think that's why Nintendo is so strict with who they let develop their games nowadays, is because they don't want another disaster like that. Doesn't stop them from making Pokemon games, though, so they're a bunch of hypocrites when it comes to Pokemon. Like, they're all about their seal of quality, which no longer exists, and probably because people have pointed out that the Pokemon games certainly aren't quality. 2 new cast. That's cool. I think I did see that. And I saw enough that I was like, yeah, they're not the characters from the games. That's a bit unfortunate, but well, I am willing to give it a try. I I like the cast for the first Mario movie. I was saying Unfortunately, I jinxed it. When I did my review of the first Mario movie, I said if Charles Martinet ever retires, we can get Chris Pratt to take over. That didn't happen, unfortunately. Honestly, I think Chris could have done a better job than Kevin Afghani. I mean, he does good enough with trying to imitate Charles, but I think the way it was handled could have been a lot better. I think Nintendo's trying to save face when they did that announcement of like where Charles himself appeared and he himself said, I'm going to be moving on to Mario Ambassador. But then there's a lot of subtext and things that Charles has said after the fact that have gotten a couple of us to think something tells me this probably wasn't Charles's decision. And I think he might have been coerced into stepping down. Because, I mean, just listen to like any interview that he does shortly before and shortly after that announcement. He absolutely loves voicing Mario and Luigi and all the others. Like, even in post Mario Ambassador live streams, he'll still like do the voices when he comes on stage. And there was one person who probably didn't know their celebrity etiquette, unfortunately. And this person asked if Charles could share the details on Kevin Afghani, and the look on his face looked like pure torture. He was like, yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about that, and I've heard the voice here and there, and you can tell that he really is trying to dodge the subject, because then he later says this vague platitude of, well, if more people can play the Mario games, and that's nice that more people can enjoy them, and if Nintendo ever wants me back, I'd be happy to return. So for those of you skilled at the art of reading subtext, basically what that means is Charles really, really, really is probably not too happy with the fact that he was kicked out. I think he likes being the Mario ambassador, but I also think he would like it even better if he was still the voice in the games. Yes. Oh, I am so pumped for Danganronpa 2x2. I referenced it in the Best Memories video. I hope you will get a chuckle out of how I referenced it. But just remember, no spoilers for Danganronpa 2, just in case there are people in here that want to experience it fresh. Personally, I was doing some thinking. And I was thinking that I don't think they ever confirmed who the main character was in the new scenario. So, again, not going to name any names, but it would be fascinating if maybe we got someone else's perspective. And again, this is just pure speculation, but I think with how Killing Harmony worked with its protagonist, they could potentially do the same thing here. Oh, Schrodinger's cat. I always associate that with Virtue's Last Reward. But I do have a friend of mine who hasn't played Virtue's Last Reward yet, so we also, in case she's watching this, we have to be careful how much we say about that game as well. But she has gotten pretty far through 999, and she seems to be liking it so far. And once again, it was thanks to my suggestion that she got into it. So I am so thankful that I've been able to introduce so many people to Zero Escape. Like, that series just means so much to me, and I've beaten it way more times than I care to admit, especially Zero Time Dilemma. I think I've beaten that game like probably over 17 times by now. And it just seems to keep getting better every time, because I unfortunately beat it out of order my very first run, and I deeply regretted it because I was told some things that I shouldn't have known at that point in time. And I won't say what they were in case people don't know Zero Escape, but let's just say that the last scene I watched was not the true ending. It was very much an ending I should have gotten first. As far as the possibility of a Zero Escape 4, Kotaro Uchikoshi has recently said that it's not completely outside the realm of possibility, so we could be seeing that. Then again, he might need to take a little bit of a break because he worked on quite a few endings in 100 Line Last Defense Academy. And if you know anything about that game, it's that it has very, very, very long endings. And he also supervised No Sleep for Kaname Date. Both of those games came out in 1 year. I think they came out like within a few months of each other. So I think the man needs some time to idealize. Multiple paths. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I hope there's not too many alternate paths though, because I feel like now that I've played 100 Line Last Defense Academy and seen how that game handles the whole multiple timelines route, it was it was a very mixed experience because on one hand, I think there were a lot of really cool endings, but the endings that weren't cool were very, like, they really, really dragged them out. And I feel like the only reason they existed was because Kodaka. I have way more respect for the Zero Escape team than I do for the Danganronpa team, and this game kind of solidified that because Kodaka was like, all right, guys, we are going to make a game that has 100 endings. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're even going to possibly go bankrupt for the sake of seeing our artistic vision through. And I personally think he failed. Like, sure, in my opinion, what I perceive as the true ending was very satisfying. But at the same time, there were some really filler endings in there that easily could have been trimmed out. And I would have thought the game would have been so much better for it. Whew, we're at a peak concurrence, guys. We got 4 viewers right now. Let's go. By my standards, that's great. I see it as 4 people in line for me at a Comic-Con booth, I guess is the closest comparison. And hey, 4 people is still a lot. I remember when I used to give public speeches, I would always say that I liked the questions more than I loved giving the speech. So bring them on, guys. I love hearing your thoughts. But I was recently thinking about how I think those of us who are a bit more on the smaller side when it comes to like subscriber numbers and viewers don't ever think that we'll become famous. And I still don't think I'm famous by YouTube standards, but I am very blessed that I have met 2 people that started out as just commenters on my channel in person. And I don't know of too many YouTubers of my size and my religion that can say that. Like, sure, you know, people like Beat 'em Ups and Scott the Woz have probably met a lot of their fans, but they also have like this humongous fan base. And they're also like friends with each other. So I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cheating. Whereas like I average like a couple hundred views. So the fact that I even met one person is insane. Uh, hmm, hmm. That's a tough one, Jevel. I think it would be better just to. It's better just not to name drop, I would say. Maybe like be very vague about stuff. Like say, oh, I hope that the victim of chapter 1 gets more character development in the alternate story. You know, like stuff that people could read between the lines a lot more. That would be great. I'll let that one slide, but try not to do too many others. And I scared away all the people. No, I know that that's not actually the case. I know that it's just YouTube being stupid and people's internet being stupid and the fact that I'm filming this in the basement. And people probably lurk. Oh, that lovely trend. But I have, whoa, almost knocked over my water there. I have been thinking about the possibility of, you know, maybe one of these days getting a Comic-Con booth or being at NCYC. And at the moment, that just seems so outside the realm of possibility. Oh, lurking is a term that people use when they have your stream pulled up in another tab, but they're actually doing something else. And they do that as a way of artificially creating views. Like a lot of Twitch streamers, they look at how many viewers they have, and that's how they get paid. For me, though, honestly, that doesn't actually help me, like, at all. It's actually more of a disservice if people lurk, because the number of views on this live stream really does not matter in the slightest. It's not really going to affect my channel too much. And I'm going to feel like, dang, now I don't get an opportunity to talk to as many people. I want to get to know you guys. And if you're just lurking, how can I get to know you? How can I talk to you one-on-one? That's the main point of these live streams. So, if you're the type of person that lurks when you're on my live streams, I would say if you're listening to every word I say, that's cool, but you could always just watch the finished video after it uploads. So I don't know, kind of seems pointless in my opinion, but you're free to do whatever you want, just like I'm free to do whatever I want. As far as games in 2026 that I'm excited about, I'd have to say Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is pretty high up there. Surprisingly, it's not number one at this point, though. And I think it's because Fire Emblem Engage it was a very okay game. It was number 9 in 2023, so it wasn't terrible. It just, as a Fire Emblem fan who's been playing for way too many years than he cares to admit, it could have been way better compared to like what I've seen in Path of Radiance. So I would say the game that I'm most excited about right now is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I know that everyone else is excited for Part 3 of the Remake trilogy. Square Enix is slow when it comes to Nintendo platforms. It took them quite a few years before they put Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, for example, which Gamefly finally has a physical version of that, so I can rent the original Final Fantasy VII and do my homework before the remake, assuming that they give me options to skip those stupid random battles and to do like ultra powerful attacks so that I can beat the bosses in one hit, because oh my gosh, that battle system looks dreadful. But the remake's battle system looks like exactly the kind of thing that I could get into. I mean, I've been wanting Final Fantasy VII Remake ever since it was announced, and I can't even explain why. I think I just thought that it was such a cool concept for a remake. And I'm glad to see that the Nintendo scene is starting to have I forgot my train of thought. Let me see what you just said, Jevil. Auto-corrected. Oh! Yeah, I don't know. I never would have thought he looked like Palpatine. I just thought he looks like any other old man. Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts about Pope Leo because I haven't read too many of his encyclicals. But if he ever says something that completely changes my way of living, then I'll start thinking about it. But as of now, my dad is pretty well informed on how the church works, so usually I just ask him, like, what's the latest doctrinal practice that I have to keep in mind? I just realized that 2026 to me is a giant question mark in my brain. I can't really think of too much that's going on that year that I'm like, that I can genuinely say I'm excited for. I can think of a handful of things. Like there's the next Harry Potter audiobooks, you know, that'll be the year that Deathly Hallows comes out. I think the Mario Galaxy movie is coming out that year. I can't think of anything else. There's some cool games, but I can't think of epic memories. But that's also what I said when I filmed my intro speech when I went to go visit Esabelle, and boy do I regret it, because a lot of cool things happened this year that made me restructure the entire video. Soda Pop song? I can't say I know what you're talking about, Jevil. I'm not much of a K-pop guy. I think the closest I've ever gotten to K-pop is the Raining Tacos song. Yeah, the types of music you'll generally hear me listening to are jazz, big band, and orchestra, and typically only within the confines of video games, because There's something about when I'm listening to it outside of a video game that the sound mixing, something about it is irritating. Like when I listen to songs that were like, classical symphonies, um, they usually start out like super quiet and then all of a sudden they become really loud and they're like exceedingly loud. Whereas in video games, when they use symphonies, they're typically a lot more balanced. No, I agree. I do think the Mario movie had fantastic music. I'm more making a general statement. Like, you know, I think if I listen to the Mario movie's soundtrack by itself, it is a very good one. But generally speaking, my favorite symphonic songs are the ones that I've seen in video games over something like, say, what Beethoven made. To be fair, the guy was deaf when he composed most of his songs, so maybe that's why the sound mixing was so bad. Hmm. So the next question I have for I didn't even know there was a Mario Brothers 3 show. I knew there was the Super Mario Brothers Super show. Is that what you meant to say? I haven't seen that, but I did hear that the plumbing commercial in the Mario movie, the theme song that they used for that was the same theme song for the Super Mario Brothers Super show, which I thought was super cool because Nintendo almost never acknowledges stuff outside of their own games. And it's great to see them glorifying a Mario spin-off that they, to my knowledge, weren't involved with. So that's a really cool paradigm shift. I also thought the fact that they incorporated a storybook into Super Mario Galaxy 2 was another great turning point for Nintendo. Like, wait a minute, we're in a timeline where there's allowed to be story in Mario Galaxy 2? Like, have you not read the horror stories of what Shigeru Miyamoto said to the developers before they even started working on the game? Yeah, I haven't forgotten about that, but I do think Shigeru Miyamoto is at the point where he's reaching a bit of a reconciliation phase in his life where he's just like, you know what? I'm starting to realize that I'm an outdated old man, and I'm just going to step away from game development and let the actual talented people work on them. Me, I'll stick to the movies because that's the one thing I'm good at. There was one Mario World. Oh, dang. Well, that's cool that they had so many samples of music from throughout the series. That's what I loved about the Mario movie, is I loved how Brian Tyler was willing to do some deep cuts. Like, he even had Wario's Battle Canyon from Mario Party 1. How many other games can you think of at all? Heck, how many anything that's official can you think of that references Mario Party 1? Um, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour does. That's one thing that references Mario Party 1. I won't spoil it, but it is it is a very cheeky reference. I love it to pieces. Um, but generally speaking, when people reference Mario Party 1 is not the entry that jumps to their mind. I think most people, if you were to say, what do you think of Mario Party? They're going to think Mario Party 2, Mario Party Superstars, Mario Party Jamboree, and I think I heard Mario Party 6 was pretty good. So those are the four that I can think of that most people would say that's the Mario Party that first pops into my head. For me, I don't know. I'm partial to Super Mario Party Jamboree. I think that was really well done. I really appreciated the attempt at providing new types of gameplay as opposed to just play on the boards all the time, which I love that about Superstars. And I still think Superstars is like one of the best Switch games. But, Jamboree, I like the idea of trying to make it the biggest Mario Party ever. Just don't make me play those motion controlled games ever again. I hated those. Yeah, that'd be great to see more gaming movies that are actually good. I'm actually pretty excited about the Zelda movie. I think that could be really nice. I'd love to see a Fire Emblem movie. Like, I'm sure it would just look like any other Lord of the Rings movie, but if they really emphasize the story and the relationships between the characters, it could potentially be good. I mean, I didn't think the Mario movie would be good, and look at me now. I've seen it like 5 or 6 times. I own it, and I think it's my second favorite movie overall. So I had quite the turnaround thanks to my sister. For those of you that don't know, my sister treated me to go see the Mario movie in the theater for my birthday. And I came out being like, whoa, that was way better than I gave it credit for. And she said, oh, yeah, that was quite a lot better than what I expected. I don't think she liked it nearly as much as I did, but she at least admitted that her low expectations were surpassed. Oh gosh, my best memories video still isn't even done uploading because it's so big. Hopefully, quality and quantity were met in that video. Mm. Man, my throat is sore today. Probably because I was doing some recording, or maybe because I recorded so much yesterday, my throat hasn't had time to recover. Oh, yeah. I did not like the singing. I'm going to have to draw the line there. Peaches was, that was an ear piercing song. Like, at first it started out all right, but then the screeching near the end just felt a bit unnecessary. And I get it. It's supposed to be a parody of Jack Black himself, but would it kill Jack Black to play someone other than himself in a movie he's in? Like, don't get me wrong, he was by far the best cast actor in the Mario movie. And I do feel like Jack's personality does fit Bowser really well, especially if you play the Paper Mario games. Like, ooh, if Paper Mario was ever revoiced by Jack Black, I would love to see that. Oh, we don't have to talk about Bruno if you don't want to. That's totally cool by me. Yeah, no, I think he did a good job of either lowering his voice or if they digitally lowered his voice. Personally, I feel like this is Jack Black we're talking about. He probably did it by himself because he comes across as the type of person that's very authentic in his acting, where he says, you know what, I want to be able to do it because the character can do it. But yeah, I do remember liking Kung Fu Panda quite a lot. And I think I liked Kung Fu Panda 2. Never saw 3 or 4, though, unfortunately. I probably should get on that, but you know how behind I am when it comes to movies. Hmm. Well, I appreciate your comments so much, Jevil, because oh, you're helping me to keep this stream going because I'm not used to this. Toad, yeah, yeah, no, I liked how Toad sounded in the movie. Might even go so far as to say I think I prefer Toad in the movie over the games. No, no hate to Samantha Kelly. I think she did a wonderful job. And I'm very sad with how Nintendo treated her by not even letting her know that they had replaced her until the day Mario Kart World came out. Despicable. I have not seen the Minecraft movie, Kateri, but I did watch someone recap it. It doesn't sound like my kind of movie, but also I've never played Minecraft, so I'm probably not the target demographic. Um, it seems like it's from what I could tell from the previews, and I could be wrong, feel free to correct me, but it seemed like it was just an excuse for Jack Black and Jason Momoa to be themselves, and they crafted the Minecraft stuff around it. And maybe that's cool, but for me, it just seemed like it was a bit of a cheap gag. But I'd be curious to hear what everyone else's thoughts are on the Minecraft movie. Because when I went to go visit Esabelle, all 3 of the girls that I was staying with wanted to watch the Mario movie. Oh no, the guy did too. Yeah, so everyone on the trip wanted to watch it. And none of the girls played Mario games regularly. Like, I think they knew a few things here and there, but I was definitely the one that kept saying, oh, this is a reference to this game, and that is this. And I was doing all the crisscrossing, and they were just along for the ride. And we all had a blast. I have not watched the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, so I can't comment on that, unfortunately. But I do remember I saw the credit scene of the Super Show, and I believe that was the one where Lou Albano sang the "Do the Mario" song, and I thought that was hilarious. I hope that Nintendo is more willing to embrace that sillier side of their theme songs, and I think they're slowly getting better at it because we've seen a few hints of them like sillyifying their musical themes. Like for example, in Super Mario Odyssey, you had some callbacks to Donkey Kong's theme song in Jump Up Superstar, and then Donkey Kong Bonanza's credits theme has an English lyrical piece that sings the lyrics of the opening theme of Donkey Kong. And, there's also like remixes of classic Donkey Kong country tunes. And I'm not the biggest fan of Donkey Kong Bonanza's soundtrack, but whew, those English pieces are really good. Like Jenny Kidd, I think, was absolutely perfect. Whether or not she'll replace Kate Higgins or not, I don't really know at this point. Um, Considering that Mario Kart World came out in the same year, something tells me that they're probably going to coexist in some form. Like Jenny will voice Kid Pauline and Kate will voice Adult. Even though I personally think Kate easily could have done a 13-year-old voice. Like, she usually voices young characters to begin with, so I don't know what they were thinking there. Probably because Jenny Kidd is a professional singer, and I think they wanted that aspect to it. Although Kate Higgins was hired to sing the songs in Mario Odyssey before she was hired to be the voice, so I don't know what the heck was going on in their head. They made Undertale into a movie? Oh, one of the fan voted. Huh. Okay. That'd be cool to see an Undertale movie. Huh. Goodness knows Undertale has more than enough fan creations at this point. Okay, unpopular opinion time. At this point in time, I think I like Deltarune better than Undertale. I know, such a controversial take, but hear me out. I am a super cheesy guy when it comes to friendships. I love power of friendship moments in video games. And I love the idea of camaraderie and people getting along and like I love friendships. I love getting along with people and telling people how great my friends are. And Deltarune is kind of like that quite a lot. There's some good chemistry between the three main characters, and they get some fantastic development. Even Chris, like, you're supposed to see Chris as a self-insert, and as the chapters go along, you begin to see that there's more of a Chris has some agency. Let's just say that and leave it at that so that we don't spoil anything. Something tells me that at some point our choices will matter, and I think Toby's trying to trick us there. This is Toby Fox we're talking about. Like, the guy is a massive troll. So, um, there's a part of me that does not want to listen to a single word of the fan theories that are talking about how they think Deltarune will end. Because it's like, guys, we're talking about Toby Fox, the man who changed his mind when it came to Chapter Two's price. You really think he's going to commit to his ideas? Heck, he may even see your feedback and deliberately make the game different to surprise you guys. So that's why I think the theorists might actually be jinxing Deltarune, because it's possible that Toby's original ideas were shattered because he was listening to the fans. And back when I did used to pay attention to Deltarune theories, I thought they were pretty cool. And now I've learned my lesson. Chapter 3. Oh, Chapter 3. You're almost there. Very, very nice. Toby Fox is who I'm referring to, Kateri. He's the guy who made Undertale, and he's the main director of Deltarune. He's not making it by himself anymore. I think he's learned that he needs a team for his ambitions. And I don't want to say why I think it was the right call for Chapter 3 to be the first one where you had to pay for it, but there are some scenes in there that I was like, oh, yeah, I can tell that Toby had some help on that one. Whereas Undertale is very much the kind of game that you would just look at like 2 seconds of that game and say, yep, that's the kind of game only one person would make. But yeah, literally, when Toby was making Undertale, he did pretty much everything. I think the only areas where he had help is his friend Tammy helped with art assets and designing some of the monsters. He also like took fan art during the Kickstarter campaign and used those for the monsters, but like he did everything else, which I think is great. Yes. Yes, you are. What's that name? RGBGLS. That's a mouthful. Welcome in. Do you have a nickname that I can call you so that I don't have to go through that? I'm totally cool with saying the whole thing, but if you do have a nickname or if you want to state your first name, that's totally cool. RGB sounds good. Welcome in, RGB. How are you doing today? Yeah, pretty much every tune Toby did by himself. I believe in chapter 4, he did have a little bit of help with some of the music. Like there are some pieces in some of the later chapters where there are vocals, for example. Chapter 1 of Deltarune did have someone singing. So yes, he mostly did all the music. I think he composed all of it. He just had a little bit of help with some arrangements for some of the later chapters in Deltarune. But like, if you look up like the Undertale and Deltarune wiki, you'll see that he composed every song in Undertale, and he also composed every song in Deltarune. And the songs that he had help on were like this much compared to the rest of the soundtrack. So he is a fantastic musician. Oh, that's good. That's good that you're doing all right, RGB. What are some things that you like to do for fun? And also, just curious, what kinds of videos do you like me to make on this channel? Because I'm open to feedback now that I'm now that I'm everyone's punching bag. Yeah. Oh man, my views have absolutely tanked, and I love it. It's so great. It allows my channel to feel a lot more personal. Drawing, very, very nice. I cannot draw to save my life. So that's why you might have noticed that most of my thumbnails are either taken from Google Images or Esabelle makes them. Stick what I love to do? Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Because goodness knows, whenever I have tried to please the audiences, I end up burning out. And I'm just like, I did not want to do that. So having someone encourage me to just do what I want is very, very nice. I missed your comment, Jevel. Let me catch up on that. Honestly, I feel like Toby's just going to want to take a nap after he's done with Deltarune. I mean, if you know your Undertale history, you'll know that the concept for Deltarune actually predated Undertale, but Toby made Undertale first because he wanted to see if Deltarune would be possible with his skill set. And judging by what I've seen of Deltarune so far, I think it paid off. I think a lot of the things that I didn't like about Undertale are better here. And I'm not going to spoil anything. Don't worry. I'm going to pretend that no one has even played Chapter 1. But it's just mostly going to be mechanics that I talk about. Like, Undertale didn't have a run button, for example. I thought your main character moved just way too slow. And Deltarune gives you the option not only to have a run button, but also to auto-run, so you don't have to hold down the button all the time. Deltarune has more character interactions. Like, don't get me wrong, the characters in Undertale are phenomenal, but they typically only talk to you, and like your character doesn't really talk back, so it's a very one-sided conversation. Whereas in Deltarune, there's actually more of the characters like talking to each other, and there's more of a conversation aspect to everything. It feels more like a journey. The battle system is a lot cooler. I still think I prefer Undertale's music, but Deltarune has some amazing tunes. Like Jevel, once you get to Chapter 4, oh man, Toby really knows what he's talking about. Masahiro Sakurai, yes. Oh, I am beyond thrilled that Sakurai said that he's not doing DLC for Kirby Air Riders. Maybe it's because I'm an old timer and I'm used to games coming out as they were, and if they were broken, oh well. So I personally am overjoyed that we're going to get the entire game in one package. I feel like nowadays people use DLC as an excuse to be like, we were either too lazy or too incompetent to finish the game on time. So we'll use DLC as an excuse to make more stuff later. And I personally am in the camp that I'm not necessarily opposed to announcing DLC before the games come out. I know that a lot of people were saying that when Pokemon Legends ZA did that, where they said, oh, why is the Pokemon Company announcing it before the game's out, blah, 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 only to realize that there were games that did that before and people did not complain about it. Just to name a few from Nintendo alone, Breath of the Wild had its DLC announced before release. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate didn't even announce most of its DLC before release. It just said, here's Piranha Plant, and there's 5 more characters that are coming, but we're not going to tell you who they are. You just have to pay for it ahead of time or wait until they're revealed. And I cannot think of a single person who complained. Fire Emblem Engage, same thing. It even said story DLC. It said we're going to have a story expansion that's going to be locked behind DLC, and that was announced before the game came out. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses did that as well, where it also announced story DLC before the game came out. No one complained. People did complain about Breath of the Wild's DLC, but not that it was announced early. It was the fact that it existed. And now the Zelda community are all a bunch of hypocrites, because first they said, why is Nintendo making DLC for Breath of the Wild? Zelda has never had DLC. Why not finish the game? And then when Tears of the Kingdom came out, they completely shifted gears and said, why isn't Nintendo making DLC for this game? Why didn't they put more into it? And it's like, are you kidding me? They made an entire underworld that was the size of Hyrule itself. Like, you want more? Now, I can kind of see their point because the depths didn't have a whole lot of amazing moments. But for me personally, I didn't really care. I just had so much fun exploring it that I was kind of, I was too busy with the thrill of movement to think too hard about the substance. There is Pac-Man DLC in Sonic Racing Cross World, so at least you get that. And there is Sonic DLC in Pac-Man World Repack too. So I'm personally okay if Pac-Man isn't in Kirby Air Riders, because he's already in so many other games this year, and I feel like Sakurai kind of wants to take a break from all the crossovers after all the work he did on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Because I feel like if he really wanted the catch in Kirby Air Riders to be, by the way, there's going to be stuff outside of Kirby, he probably would have mentioned it by now. Because that's a selling point for a lot of people. If Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was marketed today as only having Nintendo characters and didn't announce any third parties, I guarantee you those sales would have plummeted. In fact, I'm pretty sure that actually is statistically true. Like, I'm pretty sure Super Smash Bros. Brawl sold quite a lot more than Melee did. And what was one of the biggest factors for that? One, it was on the Wii, and everything sold well on the Wii. And two, Sonic and Snake were in that game for the first third party characters ever in Smash Brothers. And then I think Ultimate sold pretty well too. I'd have to look at the sales data, but I'm pretty sure, like, just mentioning that everyone is here, listening to the fans with a lot of the choices, Banjo and Kazooie alone, like, one of the best moments of my entire life there. Uh, you know what? I have more hope that that could happen now, Jumbo, because, oh, someone's messaging me on Facebook. Let me make sure it's not important. Oh, we might get a guest on this stream. I'll let you guys be surprised. uh, because I don't know. I messaged one of my friends and I said, "Hey, I'm live streaming," and she just messaged back saying, "Awesome." And that's all I'm gonna say, just in case she doesn't show up. No, it's not Paggle, unfortunately, because she is. I'm cool with promoting someone else's stream. If you guys want to abandon this stream and go watch Paggle, go for it. She streams on Twitch. In fact, let me just pop up the link. so that she can get some more views. Because she, unlike me, she's actually trying to make money from her channel. So I can afford if you guys want to skedaddle. So I'm pulling her up right now. She's playing Pokemon though, so fair warning. She might be even cringier than me. But there you go. Go follow Peggle. She's amazing. She swears a bit, but she's still amazing. Um, I wish, Jevel. I really wish, but for Esabelle in particular, this time of day is known as the Sabbath day for her. And I'm not entirely sure if live streams count as Sabbath appropriate. I should probably ask her that next time. So, yeah, no, it's not Esabelle. I don't think you guys will know who I'm talking about unless if you've really done a deep dive on a lot. Jevel, it's not someone you know. I'll tell you that right now. You do not know this person. It is a personal friend of mine that I know through Facebook messaging, and that's the extent of it. I wish it was all those people you mentioned. It would be so cool if I had Peggle and Esabelle and Pegasus Angel and Chase. I would love it if we just had a reunion with all four of those people. They are all so amazing. I haven't seen Pegasus in a while, but I would still absolutely love to. I don't know, maybe if she did Danganronpa 2x2, that would be fun to go back to the good old days. No worries, Jevel. Just didn't want to get your hopes up. No, not red either. But again, man, that would be cool. Red has come to one of my streams before, though. Actually, now that I think about it, of all the people you mentioned, Peggle, Esabelle, and Red have all been to my streams before. They haven't come to too many, but they've come to enough where I can say, like, yeah, baby, I attracted celebrities. Here we go. But yeah, if you guys want to follow these other people that Jevel is name dropping, I can give links to them as well. So let's see. First, I'll give you Red's channel because she's also on Twitch, and I happen to have Twitch pulled up. So here's Red's channel. Nah, you can promote all you want. I'm not like every other streamer. You can even self-promote yourself if you want. And then Esabelle's channel, I'll put that in here too. Ew, I don't want to hear about Pokemon. Let's get to that. You guys can keep talking, by the way. I can multitask. Oh, Geek Apprentice is live. She's a really good one too. But I don't think any of you know who she is. But she's a Catholic, just like me. And she's a gamer, just like me. I typed in Esabelle, and the first person that... Does Esabelle even have a channel anymore? Doesn't look like it. I might not be able to promote her. Because you'd think she'd be the first thing that would pop up. I'm scrolling through my subscriptions. Huh. Oh, there she is. Okay. There we go. Much better. Alrighty. So here is Esabelle's channel. Good vibes indeed. Welcome in, Waki Kitaki. I know that reference. That is from Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, and that is absolutely hilarious. How are you doing today? No worries, Jevel. Like I said, the rules for my streams are very different than the rules for regular streaming etiquette. For me, really the biggest rules to keep in mind are don't swear or say anything Like, you can talk about body parts, but, like, don't talk about, like, having sex. That's a big boundary of mine. Um, okay, I'm gonna promote I already did Reds. I'll promote Chases now. So let's get a link in there. It sure is a shame that she lives in Australia, because 'cause I'd love to see her more. Alright, Chase's channel, here we go. Oh, groovy. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. What are some cool things that have happened lately in your life? And who am I missing from that list? Uh, Pegasus. There we go. Okay, I did Peggle already. Okay, we're good. Now we'll just get Pegasus. I think she does Twitch as well, so we could probably do that. She's actually streaming right now. And I guess this isn't a rule, but a general thing is just I tell people that I'm not politically correct. So um, just expect that. There you go. Now you guys got a whole bunch of people to follow. A whole bunch. Platinumed the new Katamari. Very, very nice. I think I told you before that I tried playing Katamari. I played, what was the one that I played? I think it was Katamari Reroll on the Switch. And what ended up making me not want to play, I better not say it because I know certain people in this chat are going to make fun of me for it, but there was something in that game that made my stomach churn. And then I said, ugh, I'm not doing that anymore. So I respect it for what it's trying to do, and I think that's a technological marvel. The fact that they can have so many of those small objects rolling around, and from what I can tell, it didn't even crash the game. And I'm pretty sure there was a new Katamari that just came out. I think we talked about that before, where you mentioned it was Once Upon a Katamari, right? But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was one of those like legendary Xbox games that people were so excited to see come to a Nintendo system, and then it did. And then I think Reroll actually got a re-release along with yet another Katamari game. So the Switch is eating good this generation. Whew. So for some of the stuff that you missed, Wacky, I was talking about. I think I told you this in a message, but I finished editing the best memories video. Let me see how it's coming along with, oh, apparently it's done. Oh, it's still in the checking phases. But since you were involved with part of its creation, I will send you an early access link. So I hope you're getting excited about that. I will even send you an early access link to the soundtrack for that because I've been doing that ever since 2024. And I got feedback saying, hey, do more of that. Let's see what Jevel said. Honestly, I didn't get far enough in Katamari to know the lore. I just think it's the kind of game that when I think about the little bit of story that I do see, it kind of reminds me of WarioWare a bit. And I think it might have even been inspired by WarioWare. Then again, a lot of stuff was inspired by WarioWare, so I'm not surprised. Whew, I'm getting tired, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to last, guys. But I did want to quickly say before I run out of energy, for those of you that don't know, this is my life energy. When this goes, I go. I have alluded to the fact that I had this very mysterious family situation that made 2024 the worst year of my life. And I'm still not allowed to say too many details because it is a very sensitive situation. But the one thing I can say is that the worst part of it is over. So my family and I can finally, like, obviously there's still a few more things to sort out, but the big thing that we were worried about before is taken care of. So I feel like we are so much more at peace. We are so much more, not constantly on edge as we used to. Oh yeah, she's already here, Jevel. I don't know if she wants me to say who she is, but yeah, we got ourselves a guest. Uh, yeah, we had a little bit of a chat earlier that one of my yes, yes, you are indeed, Walkie. Um, I'll leave it up to you how much you want to say about like if you want to give yourself a nickname or whatnot. But yes, you were indeed the guest I was referring to. So thank you very much for showing up. Yeah, Jeva was trying to guess who you were all this time, and that's why I put up so many links to other channels because he was like, "Ooh, is it this famous person? Is it this famous person?" I'm just like, nope. Yeah, that's cool. You said we're the guest. Does that mean someone from your family is with you, or are you just being a bit silly? Because that'd be cool if it was more than just you that I'm thinking of. Um, oh, you meant that's great. Oh, for the family situation, right? Sorry. Sometimes I talk faster than my chat. So I'm very sorry about that, guys. I've had several times where people are like way behind me, and I am the type of person that tends to be more about the journey than the destination when I talk. There's a psychological term for that, but I don't know if you guys want to hear it. I will wait and see if you guys give me permission to talk about that. You might have noticed I've been trying to get away from psychology a bit on this channel because I want to really focus on games. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll call you Sunny. Sounds like a cool nickname. I think now that you mention it, I do believe I have seen at least one of your videos. So if you want to go ahead and self-promote, you can go ahead and leave a link in the chat. If chat ends up blocking it, that's not my call. I'll unblock it if I'm allowed to. Michael Jackson biopic movie? I didn't even know that was a thing, Jevil. Honestly, the most I know about Michael Jackson is I know he did Beat It because I played it in Guitar Hero. I know he did Mom Kissing Santa Claus. I know he did that song. And he did some of the music in Sonic 3. I was not a huge fan of his contributions in Sonic 3. Just in case you, let's hear it. Sorry, once again, I'm behind. I forgot what I said that prompted that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Michael Jackson's contributions to Sonic 3 were really repetitive and boring. Like, I vastly prefer when I played Sonic Origins, they did the prototype music from the working version of Sonic 3, which were so much more melodic. Maybe I'm biased because I played the Sonic and Knuckles collection before I played Sonic 3, and so therefore that game had the prototype music in because they remixed the entire soundtrack to begin with, and I guess there were like licensing issues that prevented them from remixing Michael Jackson's songs. So when I first got to the Carnival Night Zone, I remember thinking that it was perfect. And then I went to my friend's house, and he had Sonic 3 for the Sega Genesis, so the original version. And I remember thinking, what the heck is this awful music? And he said, what are you talking about? You know what this music is. I said, no, I don't. That's completely different from the version I played. And then I showed him what I was talking about, which I now know was the prototype music. And he said, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the original. So maybe we're both biased towards the one that we heard first, but I did a musical analysis as an earlier video on my channel. I believe it was called In Defense of Sonic 3's Music Changes. And I talked about how if you were to take the Ice Cap Zone, the version that Michael Jackson did, and you were to take out all the parts of the song that repeat, it's like maybe like a couple of seconds of a loop. And I just said that just feels so out of place compared to the rest of the soundtrack. You played all of Sonic, Jevil? Dang. Dang. You know, to be honest, I don't really have a problem with the synthetic music in the early Sonic games. I think they were honestly some of the best music of that era. But I do like The fact that some Sonic games will use real instruments. I liked how even some games I think had a full orchestra. Okay, yeah. No, to be fair, Sonic CD is pretty terrible, so you're not missing much. Yeah, I think if I had to rate the three Michael Jackson songs, based on which ones I like from worst to best, I'd probably say Ice Cap Zone is the worst because it's just so repetitive. Then Carnival Night. At least it tries to do a few different things besides just the same thing over and over again. And then Launch Base, okay, I have to admit, Launch Base is kind of cool. And the prototype music, I still like the prototype music, but it doesn't feel as grandiose of an ending. No worries, Jevil. Honestly, there are so many Sonic games out there that I'm sure there's some that I haven't even heard of. Like, apparently there's a game called Sonic Crackers, and I don't even know what system that's for that's so obscure. Oh, Sonic Spinball. Oof, that game has a pretty ear-piercing soundtrack, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not too good at Sonic Spinball. I don't think I ever got past level 1 because that game is so hard. Like, I mean, most Sega Genesis games are hard, but there's something about Sonic Spinball that just was more frustrating than fun. And I think it was because it was pinball and I'm not good at pinball. I used to be. I used to be really good at pinball. Like, there was an arcade I went to when I was a kid that had Lord of the Rings pinball. And I remember I used to be able to get all of the fellowship members, and I don't remember the statistics that I scored, but I just remember I had this system for how to always hit the ball and how to send the ball at the angle that I wanted. And nowadays, I do not have that muscle memory anymore. So whenever there's a pinball mode in a video game, I groan. Oh, speaking of Plants vs. Zombies, how are you liking the remaster that just came out? Personally, not really my kind of game, but I am glad that it's reaching a new audience. But I will say that there is a game that I've been playing recently that comes close to Plants vs. Zombies in terms of its genre, and that's 100 Line Last Defense Academy. I know technically it's not the same genre, but the concept is very similar. You have these students that are defending their school, and they're told that there's something valuable in the school that they need to protect. And so all of the battlefields are outside of the school, and behind all of your characters is a generator that keeps the force field up to protect the school. And so if the enemies destroy the generator, then you lose the battle. In fact, the enemies are programmed that they're going to that oftentimes they'll actually go around your characters so that they can get more hits on the generator, because dying doesn't actually penalize you too much in 100 line. In fact, there's actually a reward if you do. I'm not really sure how to word it, but they have this special type of blood called hemoglobin. And Sonny, I know you're listening to this, so I will say that it was made by the Danganronpa and Zero Escape guys. So there's definitely some Danganronpa DNA in there. Um, they have this special kind of blood called hemoglobin, which means that as long as they're on school grounds, if they die, they can be revived because they have these special machines that have all of their data in it that can just create an identical clone of them that carries over their memories as well. So if you're low on health, you have the option to do the super powerful final smash type of ability, but it comes at the cost of killing your character. But the game actually gives you bonus points if you do that. So generally speaking, you can still get the highest rank in a battle if your characters die, but you'll get the lowest rank in the battle if the generator takes a lot of damage. So that's my version of Plants vs. Zombies that I played this year. Oh, you missed this as well, Sonny. 100 Line is the kind of game that I thought was a victim of too much. What did I call it earlier? too much of a victim of artistic vision that it sacrificed the process along the way. Because Kazutaru Kodaka, I'm sorry if I butchered that. You know Japanese way better than I do. He was the main director behind that game and also the main writer for at least the first ending. I'm not sure how many others he did. And he said from the outset, we want to make a game that has 100 endings. We want to make a game that no one else has played. And I feel like there were a lot of those 100 endings that were a huge waste of time. And I feel like they were only there because he said there needs to be 100. And the team at some point might have said, like, I don't know, this ending's pretty stupid. He's like, you gotta make 100. At least that's the vibes that I got from the interview. Maybe it was just badly translated. But he seemed like the type of person that, like, when he got an idea in his head, he would do anything to make it happen. In fact, he was so confident that this idea would work that his company actually went in debt, trying to get enough funds to make the game. And while I do think the endings that were good were really good, the endings that were bad were abysmal. Let me catch up to what Jevel said here now. Love pinball, that's cool. 25, that's too much for me, honestly. But if that's cool for you, that's very cool. Did you say physiology or psychology? Because that looks like physiology to me. Oh, anatomy of the, oh, okay, anatomy of the human body, yes. Yeah, I'm all about anatomy and how the body works, and I love it. I feel like ever since I've learned anatomy, it's helped me to have way more self-confidence because it's like, oh, I thought that I was the only person in the universe going through this problem. Apparently, I'm not. Apparently, this is something that literally every single person who's ever walked the earth has gone through. And that was very nice when I learned that. Yes, that is a good way of summarizing it, Sunny. A very good summary. I wouldn't say it's entirely poor execution. I actually think most of it was phenomenal. Like, the, how do I word this? The first ending that you get is a predetermined ending. And then after you get that ending is when you have an opportunity to go for the other 99. But here's the problem. There's no in-game way of knowing which endings are the duds and which ones are necessary to get the true ending, which the fandom is divided on which ending is the true ending to begin with. And I wish that there was a way that maybe you could have, how do I word this? There could have been more indication in the dialogue of what you were getting into, because this could be a slight spoiler, but I'm going to be as vague as possible just in case you guys play this for yourself. There's a scene where there's a battle and you're told you don't have enough time to save everyone in the battle, so you have to choose one person to sacrifice. And the outcomes for who you sacrifice, they feel like they come completely out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't make sense with that character's archetype. Like, you'd think, okay, if this character is sacrificed, then I should expect everyone to talk like this. But they don't. One particular character has a route that's so bad that I was actively getting a headache and getting sick as I was playing the game, partly because it was so inappropriate. I mean, this is the Danganronpa guy we're talking about. But also because it contributed nothing to the grand story. And I know you're playing through Zero Escape, and so you know that even the filler endings will usually have some kind of lore revelation that helps you piece together what's going on in the true ending more, and this was just like completely throwaway. Like, I could have saved myself, I think it was like 15 hours of just sheer tedium. In fact, I'm just going to tell you what that ending is so that you guys can spare yourself the mediocrity. That if you see yourself going down that route when you play, you can just say, I'm just not going to do it. It's basically a hentai route. And I don't want to say too much more because that is super inappropriate, but all I will say is that one character suddenly becomes super attractive by a really stupid means, And then literally every single character in this game wants to do something inappropriate with that character. And I mean every single character in the game. And ugh, oh, it was so disgusting and so disturbing. And I just said, give me my life back. Why did I waste my time on this? So if you see that route coming, avoid it. It doesn't contribute anything to the plot. Thank you, Jevil. I appreciate it. No, actually, I prayed to God that I would have this kind of voice when I think I was 11 or 12. And I had researched that, like, when a guy gets a certain age, he goes through certain things during puberty. And I was very fortunate that I did not go through the majority of what guys did. To be more specific, I didn't go through the voice cracking at all. I just completely skipped that phase. And I didn't have the whole, like, that the male voice goes through during puberty. It lowered a little bit, obviously. Like, if you see old videos of me, I'll sound higher, but that's like every human in existence. Like, even girls, their voices typically don't change as dramatically, but like if you see a video of like a girl when she's 11 and a girl when she's 21, she'll sound very different. So, like I said, that's just the human condition for you. I mean, if we all sounded exactly like we did when we were children, no one would take us seriously. And I think that's why God gave us deepening voices as we got older. Yes, you're right, Jebel. Whew. I am actually starting to get pretty tired, so thankfully I do know my limits. I might actually wrap it up early because I've recently been told by a few people that I need to take care of myself, which typically hasn't been much of a problem, but I've been trying to get better at being sensitive to people's feelings. But I've heard it said that there needs to be a balance, that, like, yes, it's good to be aware of others' needs, but you also have to be aware of your own. And one of my needs is just I cannot live stream every day. I do not have the energy to do what all these people on Twitch do. That's why I'm not on Twitch. And also partially because I'm a stubborn old man that just doesn't know how to do anything other than YouTube. So I think I'm going to call it here. But before I do, I want you guys to have a chance to just say something, either a goodbye or just like, I just want to make this random proclamation about this game I was playing or this anime I was watching. So get it all out. I'll give you guys maybe a minute or two, and then I'll call it here. And in the meantime, I will rest my voice. All right. See you around, Jevil. Thank you so much for helping me out while I was waiting for people to show up. That I almost would have ended if it hadn't been for you. Yes, I have played Live Alive, and welcome in Gold. I'm actually about to end it, so thank you for getting in your question when you did. I did not like Live Alive that much, unfortunately, but I did try it because I was recommended by one of my viewers, mainly just because I thought the RPG system was a bit confusing. I'm not too good at most RPGs. The RPGs I am good at, though. Thank you very much, Sunny. I'm so glad you could make it. And I do hope that for those of you still watching, if Sunny is not offended by this, and if so, I apologize, but Sunny does post YouTube videos, so you might want to give those a try. But I like Live Alive in concept, but in execution, I'm pretty bad at it. But RPGs that I am good at are Fire Emblem and Paper Mario. And 100 Line. 100 Line is an RPG, so those three are like the good ones. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. I'm just very, very exhausted. So, yes, the soundtrack, I'll give you that, Gold. It was very good. Very, very amazing. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this cringe fest of a live stream, and I will be very amazed if you guys all continue following this. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you're excited about the best games, the best memories videos as they draw near their completion. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.